The Thinking Tackle Podcast.
Can he take
to get
it?
away with it? Yeah, he can take it. Yeah, but yeah. He ain't got the best teeth in the world, so he used to just batter his teeth, and then he had some veneers put in, and it's even better. Do you know what I mean? It's like from baby teeth to fucking big horse teeth.
What are you like in the dressing room then? Are you?
Yeah, I love having a laugh and a joke.
So
always,
are you at the forefront of everything then? Are you?
Yeah, used to be. Yeah. Enjoyed the banter of the changing room. Yeah, that's probably the thing I miss most, really. Just going in every day. Do you know what I mean? You get paid to do something you love and have a laugh and a joke. It's like incredible. Do
footballers, to being a footballer, do you just grow into that as well? Do you think as well?
Yeah, so for a majority of them, that's all they've had in their life. That's all they've ever done.
So you're used to a lot of banter and
jokes, tricks, and.
What about the ones that can't take it then?
That's what I was about to ask. Who was the worst at? Just couldn't laugh at it.
There's a few miserable fuckers, but everyone really had a little something about them. So yeah, there was some angry people though. There was some. I'll tell you who's quite angry.
I was going to say who's
Clint
angry.
Dempsey.
Really?
Yeah, Clint. Yeah, he was just an angry man, but that's what made him good as well. You know, he was always fiery.
Yeah. What a player as well.
Yeah, fantastic player. Yeah, real good player. But yeah, he was an angry man. couldn't tackle him. You know, like it would be a foul or he'd be fucking moaning. Yeah, fuck you, man.
Yeah. Bobby Zamora, welcome to the podcast. We are live. It's good to have you on.
Yeah, pleasure.
It's great to have someone on that's not. We like carp anglers, obviously on the show, but it's good to get someone a little bit different on as well, and they're going to learn something a little bit different about you as well. Hopefully,
the figures are either going to go yay or nay, really, aren't they? Really, in terms of this, and that'll guide you into, do we get people outside of the fishing fraternity on anymore? But.
Well, we said before, Tom, haven't we? We've looked at different people. There are some different celebrities coming on the show and sports people and stuff. So it will be interesting to see and how far we can actually take this podcast. With combining fishing with some other stuff as well. So actually, I was going to say to you, Bobby, have you got a nice gift for us?
Yeah, I've got a couple actually.
All right, two gifts.
I've gone free.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, free. So, well, one being. I'll tell you what. Right, we go very token. Very token, very football. So it's an England jersey that I've got.
A good gift to have this one.
So listen, it's not a match worn one,
right?
But it's a replica of an England shirt that I wore. Very cliche. Best wishes. Bloody blah blah. Bit of this, bit of that. So that's that. In terms of a memory from my fishing, so it's my first 60-pounder and the rig that I caught it on.
First 60-pounder.
And the rig that I caught it on. So
that's lovely.
That's
look at the picture.
Thankfully, there's a bigger one than that. So now you can have that one.
We need to get a blown up picture of this actually, because you look quite happy there.
Yeah.
You?
Do you know what? In that picture, as you can tell, that is dusk. Yeah. What happens at dusk around the lake?
Okay.
Go outside. This is your domain.
Surely. No, you've not been fishing recently.
Fish start showing?
Mozzies.
Oh, mozzies. Oh. We were just talking about mozzies.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've got the fish of my life.
Yeah.
And I'm just getting peppered by these mozzies. And they're not little ones. I'm in France. They're battering me. So I'm trying to... And on the actual photos, you can zoom in and you can see the mozzies attacking me. And I'm trying to smile. My hands, my forehead, I look like Hitch. You know what I mean? Look like Will Smith. Faces all over the place, but well worth it for a couple of great shots. And
so was it out of pain or joy, that picture then?
It's just a bit of banter. I always try and do a silly face
first
with
60
with a big fish. So yeah, it was nice. A good memory.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to have some pictures actually as well. Yeah. What rig have we got here?
Yeah, semi-stiff D rig, wafter.
Yeah, standard stuff.
Yeah.
Decent size.
Always.
What's that like? A 2 on there?
That's a size 2 in France.
Nice
yeah.
And in England as well.
Yeah, big fish, big mouth. Yeah, bosh, have that.
That's great. That's really That's really
That sounds
pleasant.
bad.
And then I've got a third one,
Good Tobe. This is, isn't
doing
it?
well.
which is my marker sticks, right? And these are for the podcast, but seeing as
You remember?
yeah, seeing as you don't seem to have a set of distance sticks, do you?
Si,
Marker
do you want
sticks,
to
you know what I mean?
fill our audience?
I thought we were going to
in?
tell this story, but I will tell the story. Okay.
Yeah, you.
Right, 'cause
Which
this
one? Because there's a couple, isn't there?
there are. Right, I'll tell you this one first.
Yeah.
So I was fishing at Save in the Cottage Bay, and I found a spot, and for some reason I decided to not use marker sticks. So I clipped up one rod, walked out. I'm fishing on a peninsula. Walked the rod out, and got the other rod. Walked the other rod out. I was just clipping the other rod out next to it. Then I hear a lawnmower coming, and it's John the bailiff. And John's like 75 years old, right? And I can hear him coming, John, stop! And he ploughs straight across all my fishing lines, cuts everything up, and like 10 minutes later with the mower upside down.
It's ridiculous, and I can't believe that you haven't got a set, or you didn't. But that's not the first time, right?
There have been other times as well.
Go on, elaborate.
Have you primed him for this?
No. I've just remember what you're saying.
One other time, right? Damo wanted to ask me this story actually. So I'm fishing on the canal bank, and I find this spot. It was 105 yards. Someone said it was 105 yards, but if you to save marking everything up, just walk from that stump to that stump. Clip up, you've got your distance. So I walk from one stump to the next stump, cast out 105 yards, nowhere near the clip. 10-15 minutes later, I'm thrashing the rod. It turns out I cannot hit the clip, and I was probably casting about 140 yards at that point.
Are they just not in your rod bag, or are they just not ever like?
I think they were. I don't know where they were that trip, Bobby, actually. I just said it seemed more convenient.
So who told you about the stump, by the way?
That was another guy, and he probably
Yeah.
set me up a good
done your right trick,
He
didn't he?
did me there.
Left thinking that was
But they love it. Turns out anyway, right? So it's like flipping out. This is like I can't cast 105 yards, so I walk it back up the bank. It was clipped at 175 yards. So thank you.
After walking for like 5 minutes, if you're not gone, I tell you what, 100 yards is a long way, isn't it?
That's yeah, maybe. Yeah. So we make mistakes, don't we?
Yeah.
You
Some
ever done
more
that?
No.
You've
No,
always
I've got set distance. Well, thankfully, funny enough,
And
I've
who
got a few
makes these
sets.
sticks?
I've got a few sets of distance sticks, but yeah.
Oh, that's nice of you to remember, and I'll use these sticks out.
Yeah, I was going to say, sometimes you may be doing a podcast and then shooting off to a lake, and I'm guessing you probably ain't got them, so they're ideal. They're there. Off you go, and you've got them with you.
Brilliant. Excellent. Thanks very much. We got another story, haven't we, Tobe? Because we went to meet you last week, didn't we? And I'm not always good with navigation and stuff.
How many times I've had to tell him?
Wait, is that a hint?
Yeah,
He wants a fourth one. Here's a Rolex for you, my man.
I'll take that. Thank you very much, Bobby. That's another
Is that
nice
on the right time, that one?
He was only an hour late, wasn't he? Bloody hell. I was like, I'll meet you at 2 o'clock.
It's on Simon o'clock.
Yeah.
You want to hear that story? Well, we might as well tell everyone that story as well. So I said to you, what's the name of the lake? Have you got a postcode? And you said no. But I'll pin drop you the location when I get to the lake. Brilliant. So you get to the lake, give us the location. Share it with Toby as well, so we've both got the location. I said, Toby, do you want to follow me to the lake?
I went, absolutely fucking not.
Not
a chance.
Don't know why he would have thought that. So anyway, he drives off on his own right. And I'm driving that. Damo's on the phone as well, and he's going, have you got lost yet? And I said, hey, for Christ's sake, I can't. I don't always get lost. And so I get into where you're fishing. Where was it? Hatfield, Peveril, wasn't it?
Yeah, over that way.
Coming down this little country lane, it was quite narrow, and it says you've reached your destination. But it said you've reached your destination. You need to get out and walk the remaining part of your journey. But I remembered you saying as well, you've got to go for a side gate.
Yeah.
You've got to go for a side gate. So actually where I'd stopped, there was a side gate. And I don't know why, but I had this image in my mind. There was a small gate. And there was a small gate next to me.
Yeah.
So I get over the gate. I'm stood in the middle of a cornfield.
Yeah. And you phone me and you say, I'm by the gate and I'm by a big field. And I'm like, field. Can you see any water? No. You're not there then, mate.
And that was our first introduction, really, wasn't it?
Hang on. I'd just like to say as well, you phoned me. He said, Tobe, where are you? I went, I'm by the lake. I'm in a cornfield. No, so I'm by a lake, mate.
So how does that work? We've both got the same. Both got the same.
I don't know. Well, there's one factor that differs between the pair of you, I suppose.
Yeah.
You.
I found it and you didn't. That's it, mate.
Sat nav's the same. And
I don't know. I've got a different sat nav, mate. I don't know. Yeah. But it broke the ice. It was nice. So we came to see you at your private syndicate.
An hour later,
yeah. You enjoyed that time, didn't you?
That was nice.
That was a bit of a fishing education for you as well, wasn't it?
I say see a few fish. I struggled to see them. That's what we were saying. I couldn't.
Oh, there's one. There's one.
There's one. I'm going, yeah. No.
There's a bit of chop on the water. Yeah, okay.
No, there were these great big fish coming out.
Yeah.
I was surprised because you said you caught one is not long after setting up as well.
Yeah, within the first half hour, I thought, we've got a field day here.
Yeah.
But it wasn't to be. They'd moved off or...
How often does that happen there, where you get a rod in the water quickly, you get a bite straight away? Does that happen to you very much?
No, not there. Not there. So
there you go. Got a little picture on TV.
Yes.
I think that was nice. A VS fish as well, wasn't it?
Dark. One of the newer sort of members to the lake. Dark, crystal clear the lake, so they take on some great colour. So they're some very pretty fish and
It's surprising how quickly.
Black mouths, silty bottom.
Yeah. We said that, didn't we? Yeah, that one's been rooting around a bit.
Yeah,
it's a nice lake as well. I mean, on Instagram, I know if people are following you on Instagram, you've seen quite a few posts of some really nice fish at the moment. So they're all coming out of that lake.
Yeah. Well, lockdowns helped me, I suppose. In terms of my fishing, when you play, it's quite hard to really dedicate some time to it, and things always change. You can never plan in football. You may have a schedule that says, you're off on a Monday, you're off on a Tuesday, whatever it is, but if you don't win on a weekend, the manager's not in a good mood and plans change. So wives, partners, they get very frustrated with that as well. You're trying to plan family day outs or whatever it is, and you're called in and it's going to be a double session or what. So trying to schedule your fishing in and put some hours in when your plan's really, really quite hard. So when you retire, you have your goal, you have your aim of, let's really try and get out on that bank and put some hours in. And then there's the family and there's the other new avenues that you're going into, your investments or whatever it is, or new projects. You need to focus some time. And it seems like the lockdown seems to have been a good time for me in terms of can't do anything else, can't go anywhere else. And Ali and his team putting the pressure on and getting fishing open.
He did a good job there, didn't he?
Yeah, he done very, very well. Angling Trust guys, and done some great stuff. So released us all.
So how much fishing are you doing at the moment?
At the minute, I mean, obviously being locked down with the missus and kids for 3 months, she can't wait to get me out of the house anyway. So she's like, go on, off you go. So start off with a 3-dayer, and it's sort of maintained ever since we've been going, ever since we've been in this period. So and been able to fish. So it's been 3 days, 2 days a week, 2 nights a week. Just trying to really get out and put some hours in. And obviously the banks are very, very busy to start with. They're starting to ease up over the syndicate now. So it's good for me though. Really getting some hours in. Really starting to learn about the water again. Because I've been a member there for like 10, 11 years, but each year it's like maybe 3-4 nights a year. But there's some fantastic fish there, and
so what weight have you fished up to?
43.10.
Nice.
Is the biggest that I've had out of there.
What was that previous years ago?
2 years ago. I had a brace of 40s. One morning. So
wow.
Yeah, it was a good morning. I think I've done 48 hours there. And
how many 40-pounders are in there?
Well, one of them came out. I had one of them at 41, and that came out about 3 weeks ago at 46.10, I think. But there's probably 5 and a lot of 30s, a lot of good 30s at the right time of year. Probably. Is there
a lot of bait going in there?
There isn't normally, no, because it's a lake with 20-something members.
Yeah.
And 5 of them live up north.
That's paradise,
like
isn't
north, and there's a few regulars that go down and put some hours in, but in terms of real bait going in, no. So yeah.
But it looked pretty rich, that lake, didn't it? And we said as well there was a lot of weed in there, and just a really good carpy water with a good environment for big fish, really, isn't it? Silty as well, isn't it, by the looks of it?
Yeah, silty, weedy, some good gravel spots in there, some real big deep clay bowls where they're rubbing themselves. So it's shallow areas, a deeper area. So yeah, it's got everything that they need, really, in terms of the wind. Like we were saying when we was there, it's a bit of an L shape, so the wind sort of looks like it's going one direction, but
it's funny.
It's also going another direction at the other end of the lake. The channel sort of goes down the channel, and
so wind directions on there don't really.
No, yeah,
I can't, like a big southwesterly or whatever, but it's not necessarily.
It's 2 different directions going on, so it throws you at times, but love it down here.
Yeah, you said at the start of the season it was really, really busy, but I mean, do you find that it's used to not seeing too many lines, and it's better when there's not so many people on there?
Yeah, I think so. That first week, was a shock for all the fish and all the anglers as well. Really, not too many fish came out, but it's a fantastic place, and like I say,
So, what have you learned over the lockdown period so far fishing there? Have you changed very much?
Well, the lake's changed a lot. The lake's changed. Obviously, we have the spawning as well. 3 times they've spawned in now. We've had the weed taken back a lot. So every week it almost seems like a different lake almost. So there's been a lot of hurdles, spawning, weed, no weed, disruptions, lots of anglers. So I'm just making excuses.
And you can use the boat there as well, can't you? So you can see.
Yeah, so it's really good. It's gin clear. It's gin clear as well. So it's really nice though. I actually just love going out on the boat. I probably shouldn't as much as I do, but I just love seeing the fish. I absolutely love seeing them. Before the session, I always try, if nobody's on, just try and jump in a boat if I can and just have a little look, because unless you've got the drone, which is a new piece of tech for the fishing world, and it's frowned upon, but I think it's an amazing piece of equipment, and I don't know why you wouldn't use it if you couldn't, because they're not always backs out the water, they're not always showing on that lake either. So if they're a foot under the water and you can see them, and you can certainly see where the numbers are, then it's a great.
I've seen that with filming, haven't they? I mean, they just stand out like a sore thumb, don't it? Cat's out the bag as well, isn't it? A little bit with that stuff now as well, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, being able to go out on the lake and float around above them, and I don't know whether that would do my head in at times or not, though. Just being able to. I know a lake in the southwest where you're allowed to use boats a lot, and some of the stuff they see there, like getting cleared out all the time and not seeing any fish whatsoever. But you always find them, do you?
Yeah, you can always see them. There's a few weed beds that are always going to be in and around. They're always there, or they certainly have been, But like I say, before the session, I'll jump in the boat and see if I can see them if nobody's on there, and at the end of the session as well. But the other day it was a bit of a killer. I set up in one swim where you was. I ended up moving because they'd moved off me, and when I thought they wasn't there, right, okay, I'll jump in the boat and have a look, and they wasn't there. So I moved round the other side of the lake, and at the end of the session, I didn't catch the next day. And at the end of the session, I got back in the boat. As I'm packing up, I'm gone. I'm just one last little drift over just to see, and I love seeing them. And the old spot is just as cloudy as anything. You can't see the bottom of the water, and it's just like.
You tempted to ring home.
Yeah, one more. They're here. But no, it's a great place. I love it, and I'm determined to do very well on there this year.
Try and maintain that then.
Yeah, exactly. That's just it.
Yeah,
that's just it. So, on one hand, I want the cure for COVID, and on the other hand, keep us half locked down for a little bit longer. But
yeah, it's been a strange period, that's for sure. So footballer and then and angler. Have you always been an angler all your life?
Yeah, always.
Yeah?
Always. I've I used to, in the school holidays, 6 weeks holidays that I used to be called back then, although the kids get 9 weeks off now, something ridiculous. But I used to go to Bournemouth, see my nan and granddad, and my granddad had a boat, so he lived and would go fishing on his boat, really, just offshore or just down some of the tributaries and stuff, and would catch a few fish there, and that was where I first got me bug for it. And then one of my mum's friends, we used to go down to see them as well, and her son used to fish, and he was a bit older than me, so he was really into his fishing, and the dad would fish. He was really into his carp fishing. So for me, it's seeing a monkey climber for the first time. Do you know what I mean? I was like, wow, what's this bit of kit? Like, wow, do you know what I mean? Not just a float or not just a little ledger bomb or whatever it is and a quiver tip. So I used to go there, and then I used to get my own rod. I think I was probably about 9. I had my own rod and reel and strap it to my bike with one of my other pals, and we used to ride down to Wanstead, which was a couple of miles away. Used to ride down there and get the rods out and try and catch a few fish. And there was a few carp in another lake next to it, and you'd see that really had loads of lily pads. And there was an episode of John Wilson, I think, with dog biscuits. I think he was in Sweden or somewhere like that, and I know me and my mate the next day, it's go, wow, did you see the carp dog biscuits? And then I don't know where we got dog biscuits from, and ended up going down there, frying them around the lily pads and seeing them coming and taking them, and it was like, wow, okay, they're big fish. This is the avenue that you want to go on, and just the evolution, I think, a bit of match, and then.
Did it take very long to get to carp for you then?
No, I was probably about 12 when I started to get into it. Again, I used to go to my grandparents, and they lived near the New Forest, so there was a little place called Cadman's Pool, and this little 2 acre, an acre probably, 2 acres. It must have had 30,000 little carp in it. And again, do you know what I mean? Just smashing them out. And then again, bread flake. I remember I was buying some lily pads, and I threw a bit of bread from my sandwiches that my mum had packed, obviously, threw it in the lily pads, and a big fish come and took it. And I was like, wow. So I'd got me hook, flicked it. And my mum had turned up. She said, right, we've got to go now. I was like, yeah, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. That old chestnut in it, 2 minutes. And I'd flicked it out, and this huge set of lips come up and took my bread. And I just went, wallop, hooked it, and it was like, boom. The kick was nowhere near strong enough. Do you know what I mean? Boom. About 2 seconds, snap. I was like, oh, I was like, that was it. You got to up your gear. You got to, really start, if that's what you want to go. And then ended up, really changing my gear and going into carp fishing.
It's that whole fascination with seeing carp anglers compared to it's seeing the kit change and everything else. And I started with tench fishing really, and the tench kind of sort of builds into carp fishing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But those memories are what gets us going fishing, aren't they?
I still remember those big set of lips. You can't see it, but just the huge set of lips comes out of these pads and engulfs the big chunk of bread, and it was like, wow, just getting snapped up.
Would you say you're a natural angler?
I think so. I take on board.
You notice that some people don't. Some people just don't look natural with a fishing rod, do they?
I know you saw me the other day. You didn't see me with a rod though, did you? I suppose I was already set up. You see me putting my stuff out, my bait out.
Yeah, no, you look like a competent. You can tell.
Good,
you can tell because you said Jamie Redknapp's just started fishing as well, and you said he looks quite natural as well.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, we went. Ali, the Guru boys. Yeah. They're obviously unbelievable, weren't they? It was so good just watching those guys fish. But Jamie, he took to it really well. And to have a big feeder on with a big quiver tip, they're not easy to cast, are they?
No.
Do you know what I mean? Big old tips flopping around. But he got it. He was hitting the clip and hitting right under the bush within a couple of hours, and he was loving it, catching a good few carp. So yeah, he's already asked, right, I want to do carp fishing, I want to do an overnight out, wants to experience all that.
He's not interested in the I
think he's we sort of sold it as a real good social in terms of like a barbecue, a couple of beers, and you know what I mean, when you're around there and then one of the rods screams off 2:00 in the morning. And
you've sold him?
Yeah, he's like today he was like, it was a message like, what, when are we going? Like, what's the crack? So he's in for it.
That's not, you're never too old then, are you?
No.
Because you said Mark Noble, who you're a business partner with as well.
Yeah.
Because he fishes the same lake as you.
Yeah, he does as well. He loves it. But I think I'm really getting to him a little bit this year. He lives a lot closer to the lake. Right. He lives like 20 minutes away from it. So
there's a nice picture of him up there as well.
Yeah, there's Nobes in. See, that was I think an international break at Lee Bowyer's Lake in France. So Lee's Lodge is just there. Nobody's on the lake. I think they closed it for over winter. So we went over for 3 days and had a few nice fish. But he loves his fishing.
Some good ones in there now, aren't there, in Lee's Lake? Sorry, what was the name of the lake again? I've forgotten the name.
There's Etang de Beauce.
Right.
And Lesmont as well. So I know the Tracker boys have been to both and done a bit of filming there. But yeah, it's a nice lake, mate. Some good fish in there as well. But you're driving him mad because he's I'm going and he's back training and playing, and like I've already said to him, I'll go on Monday, mate. I'm doing 3 nights there again. Like, what? When are you playing, mate? Yeah. We've got a bloody game Wednesday, so. And if every session I'm nicking one and pulling one out, and it's like, but to be fair, he's done quite well. He's been over there quite a bit this year and had a few good fish. So, yeah. It's nice. Is it possible to actually be on a football pitch and still have and think about other stuff while you're playing football? I mean, like, when am I next going to be able to get out fishing? Or? Yeah, a little bit. Depends how the game's going, really. Good or bad?
Quite 0-0.
Like, if there's an injury or if there's breaking play, if you're 4-0 up. Yeah, just coming into injury time. Yeah, I've scored that trick. I'm sweet. You know what I mean? Yeah. Do you know what? Yeah, I've got to shout at Zamora. I'm telling him I'm over. But yeah, he was like, do you know what? I might do Monday night then. I'll see what the games are saying. But yeah, he's bang up for it as well. So. That's interesting what you said about the manager as well, though. And I mean, because footballers have got a pretty difficult. I mean, we always talk about how much money footballers earn and stuff, but it's a pretty difficult lifestyle, isn't it? It looks tough. You haven't got a lot of freedom. No, everybody sees the really, really glitz and glamour, the fame, that how good it is. But you have to put some real effort into it. There's some real dedication. There's a lot of hard work that people don't see, a lot of sacrifice that people don't see. And I think that's probably one of the things that annoys players the most. You're so lucky. No, it's not luck, mate. Do you know what I mean? I've been playing football since I was 6 in a Sunday side. Do you know what I mean? Like, were you a very good footballer? I had talent. So yeah, but it's not just talent. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of work that goes in, day out, and it has done for 20 years professionally. Do you know what I mean? So it's not like I say, people just, you're lucky, aren't you? No, it's not luck. Were you working harder than everybody else? Yeah, when you were younger. I was just dedicated. That's all I wanted to do. That's all I wanted to do. I'd be outside, like the front of the house, kicking the ball against the wall, like both feet for fucking hours. I'd be down the park. I'd be playing football in between the cars with my mates, just non-stop. That's all I wanted to do. So, there's a lot of work that goes into it that people don't see, and the sacrifice. There's definitely sacrifice, isn't there? Because but you see that it's I suppose there is similarities in fishing. If you really want to do well and succeed, you have got to be on the bank. Otherwise you won't. You're not going to learn. You're not going to learn about the lake. You're not going to learn about the water that you're fishing. You can't just rock up and expect to haul every single time without putting in the hours, understanding, studying the lake, studying, you know what I mean? That's why I like going out with Ali and all these guys. I'm just trying to be a sponge and just like pick their brains. I'm not one to fire loads of questions at them, but I'll take on board what they say, and they don't have to say it twice. Do you know what I mean? I think that's something that I think I've got from football, and when managers are explaining tactics or a session or whatever it is. I used to like a laugh and a joke during the session and have a laugh, but as soon as the manager talks, I used to do that in school as well. As soon as the teacher talks or the manager talks, you're on, absorb it, get back to whatever you're doing. Do you know what I mean? Just go and have a laugh and a joke again. So.
But you're able to absorb information pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Are you a natural curious learner? I mean, do you want to?
Yeah, I'd want to. If I'm interested in something, then yeah, I'll learn. If I'm not, then it's in one ear out the other.
Mm.
Yeah.
But could you see where you were going to get to when you were younger? I mean,
yeah, as a kid, and I had a talent. And I was part of a really good Sunday side. So my Sunday team was myself, John Terry, Ledley King,
oh my God. Right.
Paul Konchesky, J. Lloyd Samuels. There was 5 of us that played for England, full England caps on the Sunday side.
On a Sunday league team.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we never played all at the same time, which would have been like mad, wouldn't it? But we all played.
Mental.
We all played for England, which was crazy. But as a kid, my understanding was maybe one of your Sunday side might make it professional, and you're gonna have to work hard.
But it's rare though. I mean, to find professional footballers, really. I mean, everybody in this country gets the opportunity to play football at some point in their lives. So it's a small minority, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And yes, you've got to have talent, but yes, you need to work hard as well. And that's, like I said to you, that's what annoys me a little bit from time to time. That people just say you're lucky, and I could have been a footballer. Okay.
People don't get anything for free in life, do they?
Yeah. You chose not to be a footballer then, did you?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they like the look of it, but not necessarily so keen to put the effort in the time. So, I mean, so fishing and football at the same time? Were you as focused on both, or I mean?
No, it was obviously football, but it was always there every single international break. If it wasn't trying to, I mean, you got to remember you're going from, say, October time, it's shitty weather in England, and you get an international break in March. And there's a bit of sunshine in Dubai, and the missus is like, I need a little bit of sun. I'm like, yeah, I need a little bit of sun, but it's like 3 days off. So you end up going out there instead. But Mark, I think that was like November. There was a November international break, and he ended up going to France to fish for 3 days. But it's always there. It's always, when can I get out? When can I spend a little bit of time?
What's the reaction?
Half wanted to get knocked out the FA Cup in the early rounds. Oh, well, I've got a couple of weekends off, because weekends aren't long enough to go away, but long enough for
so you could say all this now, can't you?
Yeah, exactly. No, not that I ever got
through
one in the FA Cup.
No.
But yeah, those things do cross your mind. Oh shit, I'm not in the FA Cup actually.
Yeah, I'm going out.
Yeah, exactly.
What about other guys on the team and stuff? What's their reaction to you going fishing?
A few teammates have fished. Quite a lot of them golf.
Golf's the one, isn't it?
Yeah, golf's the one.
Who's the best golf player then? When you were
Jimmy Bullard is bloody
golfer,
good,
isn't he?
and Simon Davis, bloody good
Wow.
golf players. But Jimmy's obviously a keen fisherman as well.
You never fancy going down the golf route?
No, but I've been a few times, and it is beautiful. I liken it to fishing in terms of, you get to some of those golf courses, and they are so picturesque. And some mornings, like quite often we play, so we stay at the hotels on golf courses, and you go for a morning walk with the team before a game. And obviously it's pretty similar. There's dew on the grass, and the mist's coming up, and there's a couple of ponds there, and you know what I mean. It's just really, really nice, really picturesque. And I see some of the boys that go out and play golf, and that's what they do, and they switch off, and they're just in a nice environment. And I say, look, it's exactly the same for fishing when you.
They are really, really similar. I mean, the game itself is a lot different, but absolutely
the focus as well that you need to put in if you want to be any good. You really do need to put some effort in.
But it's just being in nice surroundings. Fishing. We want to choose to fish the prettiest, nicest lakes, don't we? And I think walking around a nice golf course is similar to that.
Exactly.
You know, So your football career started at Bristol
Rovers.
And it didn't start off at Premier League sort of wages and that sort of level. I mean, what was it like starting out?
Yeah, so as an apprentice, you were on £38 the first year.
Wow.
And then £42.50 as a second year apprentice. Yeah. So you haven't got any money. Do you know what I mean? You haven't got any money. You're on the phone to your parents and can you wire 50 quid into me bank? Can you do so?
I'll pay you back one day.
Yeah. But it's amazing to experience and be an apprentice and do those jobs. I think those guys now, the young players at academies now, they don't have to do any jobs, whereas I was cleaning boots, cleaning changing rooms, and
grounds you.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah, and like you say, I was at Bristol Rovers, got a contract of £125 a week or £250 a week or whatever it was, and then I ended up going on loan to Dr. Martin's side, just on loan, just up the road. So I'd train at Bristol, and play a game for Bath City on the weekend or in the week in their league, and done very well there. I scored 6 goals in 6 games for them, and then it was a step up of league football in going to Brighton.
How did you get Brighton's attention?
Yeah, I think just doing well in those on that first loan period at Bath. They were looking for a striker and didn't have a big budget, and I think somebody came to watch me at a reserve game after knowing I'd scored a couple of goals, and they said, we'll take him on loan for a month. Ended up scoring 6 in 6 there as well, and then in the summer they came in and paid £100,000 for me, which for them was a huge amount of money.
They were a Championship side then?
No, they were Division 2. So
they were building, weren't they, Brighton? They've been building over the last decade or so.
They've had real good owners and have put their money in the right places and done it very, very well. So I was fortunate enough to be a part of that building process. And
what about as a footballer, sponsorship deals and endorsements? Does that disappear pretty quickly after?
Do you know what I say to a lot of lads, a lot of young boys that are like, I say to Mark Noble still quite a lot, like when you're sponsored by these brands, Adidas, Nike and Under Armour, whatever it is, like you get, it's a lot of money, like you get 5, 10, 15 grand to spend in store or online or whatever it is. But I'm like, listen, spend it within the first 6 months, because and then when you ask for something, they're still going to give you it. But when you finish playing footy, I'm telling you now, they won't. You think that you're tight with them, and they'll still send you some stuff, and they'll send you the odd bit or two, but you can't, and they won't. So I say to the boys, like, just rinse the life out of them. Just fill your garage up with your bare essentials, because you know what I mean. When it's
so
over,
they just. So who were you? So you were sponsored by?
I was with Adidas for a long time at the start of my career, and then Under Armour came to me and asked. Come to West Ham, and they asked us to try some boots, and asked a few players to try a few pairs of boots out. You know, and they got laughed at, really. Under Armour, who the hell are they? American brand. No one's ever heard of them. You just make thermal tops, and that's it. But I gave them a go. Helped them tweaking boots, and coming into English football. I was their first England international to wear Under Armour boots.
Right.
European Cup final, and I was their main player. And it is a little bit disappointing, but you help them for so many years, and when you come towards the end of your career, they don't pick up the phone. They don't, you ask for a couple of pairs of boots, or you ask for whatever it is. I used to get a pair of boots every week. Do you know what I mean? A different pair of boots every game, which is a lot. And I suppose, you still use them for training afterwards. But yeah, I just think that
it's very extreme, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And so I say to all the young lads, you know what I mean? Get what you can out of the game.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people still think, these boys get so much money. They you know what I mean? What you got to remember as well is there's no tax evasion. There's no special little scheme. Half of that money goes straight to the government. And so it is helping the NHS. It is helping the country. Do you know what I mean? Like, you got to remember that they are massive numbers. They are huge numbers. But half of that money is going to the government. There's no, so when people give a lot of people stick about the amount of money that they get, you also do have to remember that half of that money is going back into the country.
I think we were hearing that with the coronavirus as well, wasn't it? When footballers when there was all this talk about their wages and stuff like that, that was an issue as well. The amount that gets, given back to the government.
And a lot of people don't realise that, don't see it. They just see.
But do you know how I see it as well, Bobby? I just see it that you have got a unique skill that not many people have got.
Do you know what?
It's like
you are only worth what someone's willing to pay, right?
It's true. It's true.
How much are you going to pay for a loaf of bread? What you're willing to pay, really. Do you know what I mean? Or a pint of milk or whatever it is. You're going to pay what you're willing to pay.
That was what I was going to ask you, actually, because you were always associated pretty much, apart from Brighton and Bristol Rovers before, with London clubs. Did you ever fancy moving to a northern club or
That's grim up north, isn't it?
It's horrible weather.
One of the things was, I do not go outside the M25. That's what I said to my agent. Don't even think about it. But no, I don't know. I was just very fortunate that London boy managed to get 4 London clubs. Everything just happened that way. I did get an opportunity to. Liverpool came in for me. I played for England. My debut was against Hungary, and I remember getting in the lift afterwards, and it's me, my best mate, and Steven Gerrard. Steven Gerrard says to me, "Well done today." We're like, you know what I mean? Well done. Would you consider playing for Liverpool? I was like, yeah. Trying to play it all cool, really. Like, yeah, of course. And he said,
"Sorry, I mean, you're a Premier League footballer, but you still have like those aspirations at looking at those clubs and thinking, wow, is it?
Yeah, honestly, like Steven Gerrard is wow. Like when I trained with England, he's the one player that stood out above everybody else. Like, he's the one player that I was like, wow, this guy. So he's in the lift. I think he captained that night. That night as well. He scored and captained. And then afterwards, he's like, you know what I mean? Because I trained with him all week. So he actually got to see me firsthand. Because playing against somebody is very different to training with somebody. And he'd obviously seen something that he liked. And would you come? And I was like, yeah. He said, I'll have a word. And then a couple of weeks later, Liverpool came in for me. Roy Hodgson was the manager. So he obviously knew me from Fulham as well. Liverpool came in and Spurs came in at the same time, 10 million quid each. Those numbers are so embarrassing now, aren't they? 10 million quid. Let me change that. 100 million pound each.
What do you think you would be worth now then? In that money?
The numbers would be ridiculous.
You'd be 100,000, wouldn't you now?
Shit. What?
100,000?
1,000 million, you mean? Yeah.
Sorry.
And they put a bid in. So I've gone to Mark Hughes, the manager at the time at Fulham, and I said, look, these are big clubs, and I really want the opportunity to talk to them. And he's like, look, let me speak to the club, let me speak to the owner and see what happens. And Mohammed Al Fayed's a funny character. He's a funny character. When you see him in the training ground, he's always having a laugh and a joke, always playing silly little things, always saying very funny, weird things. So he comes in with humbugs and, he'd say, boys, you want a sweet? You want one of these Harrods humbugs? Yeah. All right. Yeah, boss. They're good. You go all night. Basically trying to make out these things of Viagra. It's like, never said anything sensible. Never anything sensible. So anyway, the club, the manager says, look, Mohammed Al Fayed wants to talk to you about it. And I was in the mindset of, right, I'm going to just say, like, I want to go. I said, look, I had a phone number to phoned him at 2:00. He gets through to his PA. His PA says, yeah, please hold on. We'll get him on the line. I'm waiting for like 5 minutes. Did it fucking mugging me right off here. So
Do you think he knows when you get the call? When he gets
I think so.
Right, there's a transfer request on it.
No, I think he's thinking, let this boy wait. Let this boy wait.
Right.
So I'm waiting. He picks up. Yeah, how are you? Blah, blah, blah. A little bit of banter about him. A little bit of banter, and then bang, he switches into business mode, like absolute business mode. And you don't become a billionaire by just being stupid and giving humbugs out to people, do you?
Being nice to people.
Do you know what I mean? Like he just went into absolute business mode. He's like, look, I need you. We want you. He was a generous guy anyway. Always looked after the players and the team, and a really nice guy. And he said, look, we'll get it sorted. We'll get it sorted very, very soon, quick for you. I was like, okay, all right. So I ended up getting off the phone, speaking to my agent, and I was in a good place at the time. You know, I played for England. We'd just had a great run in Europe, and I spoke to my agent. Let's just try and get it done then. So the deal was done in 3 days, like real quick, which is quick, really.
Quick.
And I signed the contract on a Friday night, Friday after training, so about 3:00, and I get home. I'm just like, wow, okay, sweet, 5 years. Good money. I think it was like the highest paid player at the club at the time. I was like, wow, okay, fantastic. Get up, we've got a home game on the Saturday, so get up, go to the game. We've got Wolves at home. I play the game, first half, about 25 minutes in, bang, break my leg, break my ankle. Day after, I signed a contract. I promised you now, right? We've got the head of the medical department, right? I get in the ambulance, so I've been carried off onto a stretcher into the medical room. I've got gas and air, and as they're wheeling me into the coach, right, into the ambulance at the ground, I'm like that, and all I'm thinking in my head is, have I signed that contract? That's signed. Mark. They can't rip that contract up, can they? Has that been processed? Has the FA got it? Like, that's all in my head. I'm thinking like, oh my God, please. Like, but yeah, it was. And do you know what? When you're a valuable asset of the club, though, they do everything for you to get fit. So the club with Fulham were absolutely fantastic in terms of like. They had like a fucking electric bed in my living room, like when I was like I obviously couldn't move, so I was like a big electric bed in there, and had an oxygen tank chamber built at the training ground and shit like that. Like,
personal nurses,
unbelievable. Yeah. So
flipping out, you got that sorted out. It was just as well you done it 3 days before and not later than that.
It was like the day before. The day before.
I mean,
I signed on a Friday, broke my leg on a Saturday.
Wow.
Like 5-year contract. Yeah,
good timing.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was entertaining in that coach in that ambulance. Though, back to the thing. Yeah,
Cheers, guys.
Yeah,
even
wow.
when you're in excruciating pain, you still
shit. Gas and air is great though. I don't know if you've ever had it. It's good shit.
Yeah,
good shit. If you're pregnant women, make sure you use that shit. It's good.
Yeah, and it's still carrying on with everything else at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a great experience for me to play in all those divisions.
What do you do just grow in confidence then, Bobby? I mean, what defines someone that sort of starts offers? I mean, to get a professional contract in the first place, and then find yourself as a top Premier League striker.
Yeah, do you know what? I don't find anything really phases me. I don't really find that. I don't feel pressure really. I don't.
You said that last week, and a lot of people say that, right? And you say that, but a lot of people say that, but you. Really? Do you really mean that? Because for some people, because it's a way of kind of projecting what you really feel. Like you say, I don't care, but really you do care quite a lot. But you don't find that.
I didn't feel any pressure. Looking back now, I was a 19-year-old kid going to play first team football. You turn up in a completely new changing room. You don't know anyone, don't know anybody, and you've got to go and play a game on a Saturday in that team. I don't remember being nervous at all. Just going out and what's the worst that can happen? Like really, what's the worst? Like I was confident in my ability that I could play a bit, what's the worst that can happen? I'm not going to get 5 penalties and sky him all over the bar. That's impossible. So, do you know what I mean? I just don't really think like that.
But is that in your upbringing? Do you think your parents have?
Yeah, I think my dad's got that.
Has
my
he?
dad's got that in terms of, yeah, he could live on a desert island on his own, like not talk to anyone for. And I'm the same. I could, if someone was to never phone me again, someone that I was close to would never pick the phone up to me. I wouldn't cry over it. I wouldn't be. Do you know what I mean? It's just the way. It's just the way, whether that's ruthless or heartless or
just like
or whatever. It's just, yeah. It is what it is.
We like a bit of solitary at times as well, don't we? We like to be. But I'll tell you, because we were talking, Tobe, weren't we, about this as well? And I mean, I don't probably think the same way as you. And
that's a given, mate.
And I mean, if you can learn something and you really don't care enough about what people think, that must make a lot of difference to someone. Because I mean, a lot of the reasons why people get held back, isn't it, is because they worry too much about what other people think.
Yeah.
And
I don't know whether that's. I don't know whether you can learn that though. I don't know whether that's something that. Being worried about people's opinions.
It's instilled into you at such a young age, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is, and I don't really have that. Although, when I played for Fulham, my first year was very not difficult. As a striker, you're judged on goals. But my first season at Fulham, I was asked to play. I call it a defensive forward. So I was asked to play,
defensive forward.
Yeah, I call it a defensive forward. So let's take, for instance, I'm playing against Manchester United. You've got Paul Scholes, who would go and pick the ball up off.
Yeah, wonderful, great.
And I've got to mark him, basically, when we haven't got the ball.
Yeah.
So when Vidic or Rio's got the ball and they're looking for Paul Scholes to pop up in that little hole. No, I'm the one chasing him. Yeah. I'm the one that's screening that ball.
How does this work?
So by the time we've got the ball, one, I'm in our own half, like fucking fish up a fucking tree. Do you know what I mean? And two, I'm supposed to be up that way and scoring. But my job, I've done very well. The team appreciated what I did for the team, and when I'd get the ball, I'd ultimately end up putting Andrew Johnson in quite a bit, or hold the ball up, bring players into play. So I didn't get a lot of goals, but and people on the outside of the club, a few fans as well. Oh, he's not scoring any goals. He's not doing anything for his team.
Yeah, they just see the
naive to football and what I've been told to do and the job that I've done. They certainly had an opinion of me, and. That I suppose that was quite hard, but it also fuels the fire, doesn't it? It just puts me into, all right, well, listen, I know my teammates are extremely pleased with me. I know the manager is extremely pleased with me, and I'm happy with my performances. So that's all that matters, really.
Would you say within a team that you're one of the leaders?
Leaders, I would say so, but not as a big, shouty, typical leader. I would always have very good relationships with everybody in the team and on the squad. I think I'd be liked by everyone. I think everyone would take my opinion and what I've got to say seriously. So I think in that respect, yeah. But that second season, Andrew Johnson ended up getting injured. I ended up being the one up top. Scoring a hatful of goals, getting to a European Cup final, and getting in England call-ups. So
his bad luck was your.
It was, and somebody else. Zoltan Gera ended up coming and playing in that defensive.
Yeah, he had to do all the running after that.
Yeah, it was fantastic. So, but yeah, it's just where the job that you're asked to do. If you do it well, that's.
We spoke about it a bit last time when we come to see you, but when you moved up front into that kind of out and out striker role, you said Scholes gave you a bit of run around. Who else gave you a nightmare on the pitch?
In terms of defenders,
yeah.
The two main ones would have been the Man United centre halves, Vidic and
Your mate.
and Rio Ferdinand. Yeah, those two were very, very good. And I mean, obviously they won a lot of medals, a lot of trophies together. And Vidic,
bit of an animal, wasn't
he was an animal. When he's
good.
big Serbian guy, huge Serbian, strong guy. And Rio, a little bit of a pretty boy, just a little bit of a Rolls Royce. So what would ultimately happen? I used to like a push and shove, and I try and hold the ball up. So Rio would send Vidic in to go and smash his nose on the back of my head. You know what I mean? And Rio would be 10 yards behind, just picking up the pieces, looking all good.
Yeah,
just play it to Paul Scholes.
He looked good a lot, didn't he?
He looked really good. And Vidic ultimately, his nose is all over the place. And
he's at war.
So those two were fantastic, and Carvalho and Terry as well.
Yeah. But you said, because you need to be strong-minded, because what we don't see watching the games is, what actually goes on between players actually on the pitch, and what, there's individual little verbal stuff as well. Yeah.
Carvalho was brilliant. I mean, he wasn't the biggest player in the world. He wasn't the strongest player in the world, but he knew how to. I would say it's old school Italian defending almost. Like when the ball's at the other end of the pitch and it's going across, he would step in front of you. He would just trip your foot, and after 3 or 4 times, you're not looking at the ball. You're not looking at the movement. You're looking, where the hell is he?
Yeah.
He's going to do something in a minute. And it's just those little seconds that you take your eye off the ball and you're not really concentrating. You haven't made the run that you should have made. And you're getting a little bit frustrated, and there'll be an opportunity to give him a smash. And as soon as you do, he's on the floor, he's rolled around, he's got you a yellow card. And then you're like, I can't touch him. And he's still playing his little games.
They were really good at that anyway.
Really good. He was really good. So yeah, some real clever defenders.
Yeah, you take that for granted. I mean, you have to be able to switch off from that sort of stuff as well, don't you? And it's an interesting. And you say like solidarity in the dressing room. You said that it's not always brothers.
No. From time to time, changing rooms aren't. Not everybody always gets on, and majority of the changing rooms that I've been in, the West Ham one when I was there, good English lads, all young, hungry English boys. Fantastic changing room. We'd win. We'd all be out on a Saturday night. Do you know what I mean? All young guys just having a great time. But the time that I was at QPR, it was a really strange changing room. There were like real different cliques, and I don't know whether that was that sort of QPR came from a bit of a journey and got some good promotions, and there were still players from that hard-working promotion sides to £100,000 pound players. Do you know what I mean? A week they were getting £100,000 a week. I don't know if there was a little bit of that. I came halfway along, so I came in and was like, this is a real strange environment, and there was just cliques, and it never really. We didn't perform as we should have done, and there were promotions and relegations there, but ultimately it wasn't as good environment as it should have been really with the players that were there and results.
Yeah, you were underperforming, then you think. Yeah,
no. Without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah,
the players that we had there. I mean, we had Jose Basingua, a Champions League winner, like the season before. Like, you don't go from being a Champions League winner to the season that he sort of had. And
yeah, Cesar as well, Brazilian.
Julio Cesar,
keeper.
Brazilian.
Are they always up for it as well, though, Bobby? Are they?
I don't know.
Not quite in it.
Yeah, I don't know if some of those guys were not fully in it. Which when you're in a relegation battle, or if you're trying to win and knowing that some people's focus isn't there, it grates a little bit, you know. But I had a good time there, enjoyed it there, but just at times it was a little bit frustrating.
That's what I was going to say to you, actually. What do you make of these football matches at the moment with no crowds? That must be how.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Do players underperform or overperform when they haven't got a crowd?
Underperform, without a shadow of that. Yeah, I mean, actually, I got a funny story out. I mean, the Liverpool-Everton derby was not a Liverpool-Everton derby. There wasn't hardly any yellow cards or anything like that. But I had done the Spurs-West Ham game and the Brighton-Leicester game a couple of weeks back. But I ended up going to my syndicate, setting my stuff up, getting my rods all clipped up, everything ready. Then I had to drive to the studio in my van. I drove to the studio in my van, ran all the way round from Essex all the way round to like Heathrow. Done the game. So I turn up and I'm in my fishing gear. I've got a pair of shorts, t-shirt, and a pair of trainers on. I've got me like trousers and me bits and bobs in a suit carrier. I walk in the Sky Studios and Redders is there in a pair of shorts, Jamie Redknapp in a pair of shorts and a polo shirt. And I've gone, bloody hell, where the hell have I been, mate? And he's gone, fishing. He went, where the hell have I been, mate? And I went, golf. He went, yeah. So, but I ended up doing the show, getting back to the lake at 1 o'clock and getting my rods out. I was like, loved it. Absolutely loved it. It was real good.
That's
real
like
good.
that.
But anyway, back to derby games. No, I mean, even that West Ham Spurs game, not a derby game at all.
There's no heart and soul in that.
I mean, normally that would be an absolute kick fest.
Yeah.
It really would. So it's definitely missing something.
It's
But
so much
I don't think the
atmosphere,
table.
isn't it?
Yeah, but I don't think the results have really shocked. There's not been any ridiculous results that have really shocked anyone, other than Liverpool the last couple of games. But they've pissed it. They've won the league and they've had a couple of heavy nights, haven't they? No doubt. So.
Yeah.
But other than that, the results have sort of...
Martial seems to be a bit more confident at the moment as well. I mean, it's like...
Yeah, that Man United team.
He needed a bit better,
Bruno Fernandes has changed that team since he's arrived, mate.
He's linked it all together and
he's just pulled everyone.
A happier person.
That's
like say Martial, Maybe Martial doesn't like the crowd. Maybe he's hoping that he'll stay like that.
Kind of crossed my mind a little bit because some of his finishes, the other day were amazing. So, So getting back into fishing, how did you sort of meet Ali and get into all this?
Well, he's a footy nut, isn't he? So he's got more front than Brighton Beach, isn't he?
He's got a bit of front.
If you know Ali, you know that he's got so much front, which at times when you're with him is quite cringe, isn't it? You see the things that he does and the place, and the things that he says, but I admire him for it. I really, really do. It's like it's a trait that he's got, and he just doesn't care. It's like about what he says. But great lad, fantastic lad. But loves his footy. I met him I ended up getting him tickets for QPR.
You said that
QPR
was your
Liverpool.
first.
That was the first time I met him. QPR Liverpool. I think we drew the game. I had a good game actually. Smashed Lovren all over the place. But we've been very, very good friends since. Ultimately, because I can get him shitloads of tickets everywhere, really. Likewise, you, Tobe.
I was going to say,
mate. I've never had a thank you off of him.
I've heard this.
I was talking. I actually saw my mate who you sorted this tickets out for. I said,
Wait, was it Russia?
Yeah, we saw England-Russia in Marseille.
Yeah, that was it.
Well, I'll make sure I'll thank you now then.
Yeah, you're
so
welcome,
everybody can hear that.
You're welcome. Yeah.
So we know where to go for tickets then, Bobby, do we?
Yeah. No, well, I was powerful with tickets back then, but I can nick a ticket or two every now and then.
But no, he works hard, doesn't he? And he uses his personality, and you talk about having a bit of drive and stuff like that, and Ali has definitely got that and uses it to the max, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And it's probably one of the most popular people in fishing at the moment.
Yeah, he's a really likeable guy. Like you say, works hard. He's energetic. He's good to go fishing with. Like that. I mean, that's us two in Key West. Where can we go fishing? We hit it off when we went to the Amazon, and have planned trips and gone away and nicked a couple of fish.
That was a great program, that as well. A little bit different for you as well, wasn't it?
So I retired in the August.
Yeah.
Well, I ended up having an operation in February. That basically that was it. I knew that was it. You're finished. I played a game on a Saturday for Brighton, and on a Tuesday we had a game away from home, Hull away, and my hip was shot to pieces, and I was sub. I didn't even warm up before the game because it would just aggravate me too much. I I went out at half time and had a little jog, like a very, very gentle jog. And I was like in bits. And the assistant manager, Colin Coldwood, said to me, like, last 10 minutes, Bob, you fancy your last 10 minutes? And I was in so much pain that I was like, Colin, I can't. Like, and that for me was, yeah, you're done.
Why were you on the bench in the first place?
I was shot to pieces.
But why were? I mean, if you were injured in the first set, why?
Because I'd done it before in terms of like you'd play on a Saturday and then sub for the next game and come on for the last 10, 15 minutes, either nick a goal or hold the ball up. A little bit of experience, I suppose, on that part. But yeah, that was when the realisation is you need an operation. You can't do this anymore. And when I had the op, it was like, yeah, you might be able to come back, but in my mind it was, yeah, you're going to retire. And in that sort of time towards the end of the season, I think I needed a little bit of something to look forward to. And Ali said, look, we're going to do the big fish off Amazon. Do you fancy it? September. I was like, yeah, let's have it. And it was just unbelievable to go there, fly 15 hours and then get on a little metal boat and drive up the river for 5 hours. Paul Smith Jr. getting blisters on his shin from the sun. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was just, it was fantastic. And then the accommodation was magnificent. We've done like a little makeshift.
Didn't you guys say it's a little bit better than what we thought it would be? Did I hear them say on the programme? I don't know what he was expecting.
I don't know, but it was good. It was like, for me, I don't care. Yeah, I don't care. Do you know what I mean? You could throw me in anywhere, and I'd
I've got the little clip of actually you on the boat.
Yeah. So this is when you're on the boat and you've lost.
This whole last 24, 48 hours for me has just been a joke.
This is no. So
you ran out of fuel or something?
We filmed, right? So we're on these little boats.
Have I got?
Four of us on this little boat. This boat's
We've run out of fuel.
8 foot long, 10 foot long, 10 foot long.
Gives up his seat,
and
somewhere
we've had the shoot for the day, and afterwards we've gone right. Let's go out and do a little bit of something. Let's go and kill a little bit of time, go and have a little bit of fun. And
before we know it, we've got
the guide who's catching snakes out the tree. We're looking for caiman and little alligators and snakes and whatever we can sort of do. We get so carried away, we completely forget about fuel. But this is the Amazon jungle. We haven't got, like, there's no phone signal. You ain't got sat nav. You ain't got nothing like that. We've obviously got the guide who knows the river a little bit, or a lot, but we're still 2 miles away, thankfully, because the river is a big, wide,
it's quite
powerful river, right? Has got a bit of flow to it from time to time. I think it was changing directions every 4 or 8 hours. As it happens, we ran out of fuel 2 miles away when there was no current either direction, because it was either going to help us and take us back to where we wanted to go, or take us even further away. But we're stuck on this boat. We don't have no motor. We don't have oars. We just got to try and make shift. And you're on the Amazon, right? And there are some things in this water that there's anacondas there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, there's some big things, and it's quiet, and you can hear things in the water.
Hear things you don't want to hear.
Like a carp splashes from a distance. You go, that was a big fish, wasn't it? That there were noises like in that river that were like, wow, whatever that is.
There are probably things in that river that have never been discovered.
Yeah, that were bigger. Yeah, like real big things, and doing that, putting your hand in, like, isn't really appealing.
It's not the one,
ain't really appealing. So yeah, we tried to makeshift a couple of oars, but we weren't panicked at all. Like, it was just so funny, just being there, just absolutely hilarious. I was just in pieces. Scotty, the cameraman, he was fantastic, and Ali, just.
So if that tide was going the other way, how far away do you reckon you would have ended up?
Oh shit, we would have gone.
You wouldn't have stopped, would you?
Yeah, I think we would have probably have ended up in a bush, like just trying to wait it out, because it was like 12 o'clock at night. Absolutely starving as well, by the way. We hadn't eaten, so we'd been out all day. Thought we'd do a little hour's adventure, catch a couple of fish, do something, catch some snakes, and then head back and get some food. So we were starving. Ended up making a few makeshift oars and stuff, but it was just fantastic. Screaming down the thing, hoping that because we were supposed to have a safety boat with us. Like, but we just went, oh, don't worry about it. Go and get back. Just make sure my food's ready when I get back. And yeah, but it was just an amazing experience.
Is that the best memory of that trip for you?
Do you know what? It was fantastic. Obviously, catching one of those giant pariba, it was.
Have you got a picture of one of those, Tope? It's the really, really long. Yeah.
Those were. I mean, that's what you ultimately went out.
That was the goal of the trip. Yeah.
That was what we went out there for. Yeah.
So how did you find people? How long were you out there for? So what? 2 weeks?
I think it was 2 weeks overall. Yeah, wow, including the travelling and
look
stuff.
Look at that.
That's what you went there for.
Yeah, absolute.
That's
beast.
a great face on that picture.
Absolute beast. Yeah, I mean, that was actually Ali's fish. That one. That was Ali's fish.
Right.
We went out. Can you believe it? We went out. I think the first night or the second night. Literally, just we got stranded round that corner. Our boat is back that way. Our camp is back that way. We got stranded round the corner. So that's about halfway probably. And had that. The first night, it was like incredible. Just seeing the power of that.
How long does that take to land?
Yeah, had him on toast for a while.
Had him on toast.
Yeah, it was brilliant. It was really. But for me, obviously, I wasn't. Yeah. We wasn't fishing. Me and Paul. We were just like sort of spectating and watching, and it was like, shit, this is what we're going to be catching. But he caught it so easily, didn't he? Do you know what I mean? He caught it first night. First night, it's like, wow, okay. But it took us 3 or 4 days to get one. But it made it so much sweeter that they weren't just 10 a penny as well. Do you know what I mean? You actually,
no way.
Yeah.
How difficult is it to go out to the Amazon and fish for those? I mean, you need guides and stuff like that.
You need guides, and obviously Gal Newman. He's
good, isn't he?
He's very good.
He's caught a few fish as well.
He's caught a few fish. That's all he does. Then he travelled the world, Marcia and all that, like going to India. That's pucker as well. So I've got a long list of places I want to go, fish I want to catch.
What's next on the list then?
What's next on the list? Where am I going? Oh, I'm going to Oman in April.
All right.
Wow.
Big GTs.
Oh, yeah,
Huge
GT. Oh,
GTs.
right. I know someone that's talking about fishing for GTs at the moment, actually. Yeah. That's a different style of fishing altogether.
Boundaries.
No boundaries.
No boundaries is who we're going with. So
right.
There's a good group of us that are going. So really, really looking forward to that. A lot of casting, a lot of hard working.
I don't know much about it, but like method-wise, what how are you fishing for?
Big lures, poppers, just cast and smash.
Yeah.
And just but they are £70, £80, 80 kilo GTs. Like that's going to be incredible. That is going to be incredible. So I missed out tarpon this year. I was supposed to be in Florida catching tarpon and shark again, but missed out April with the virus. So there's a lot of places that I want to go. Marcia in India.
I've always liked that. Yeah. I always remember casting at the Sun. There was a program, John Bailey done casting at the Sun. Like it was out in the early 90s, and he was in the Ganges catching those, and it just looked amazing. Oh. Yeah, Marcia are just.
They look beautiful, don't they?
They go well as well, don't they? Yeah.
Big scales, golden.
What about carp fishing? Because you were saying about going to Croatia and stuff. Have you fished a lot out there?
I've been. Do you know what? Yeah, I've been 3 times now. I'm going in September again. I went out on my own first. So obviously Ali's sorted out a contact over there, Harry, who's called a rep over there.
Right.
Fishes for Croatia, and he sorted out Shumba for the first time for me. So I had my rods, I had some bait, I had my tackle box, and I took some food, a bit of food, and I've done 3 nights. So I flew over just with that stuff. He met me, he gave me a bivvy and a bed chair and some tiger nuts. Set me up.
That was it.
And that was it really. Like I just spotted and caught, and it was just brilliant for me. Do you know what I mean? Going out there, knowing nothing, a little bit of an adventure. I like that. Just on my own, bam, and doing that. And I loved the place. I thought, God, yeah. I didn't get into any of the real big fish there though, and then I ended up going again with Sean McSpadden, and doing well and catching a few good fish. And then I went again with Fox. Ended up doing a big trip, so it was great to go with like Tom Maker and Bartlett and seeing those guys.
How are they
fish.
fishing that?
They were incredible. I don't know what they do. I don't like. They were. Unfortunately for me, they fished the other side of the lake, but they smashed it. They smashed it.
They always do.
Yeah, but they weren't fishing how I thought they were going to fish. I thought that they were going to fish match style, smashing it, like loads of spodding, and they were doing a bit of it, but like they was doing a bit of boat work, and and I was like, God, it's really, really not the way that. But I don't know what they do, but they do it so fucking well, and it's eye-opening to see, and being their presence and watch them catch some fish. But it was a good trip for me. I ended up last gasp with a 60, but
we got some pictures, Tobe. What pictures have you given us, Bobby?
I don't know.
What was the lake that the name of the lake that you said?
Zazaki.
Zazaki.
That's the one. So that's the one we went to. I've been to a couple of times. That's my PB. That's 67. So
I love that picture.
Yeah.
So when hence the silly face again, like in the picture. So that was a real good experience for me. Again, Ali, Harry sorted out the lake for us, and he put us onto a guy who's his back garden, basically. That's his local water. He knows everything about it. Young kid, pretty much like Bart and Tom, fishes in competitions. I think he's been in the Croatian team as well. Lovely guy, and it was brilliant for me and Sean to experience it. So we've got this swim. It's the same swim that Ali fished in the masterclass, maybe.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It's a little bit different because they've split that into two swims now. But we get there, and Ali's like, 120 yards. You'll be sweet, mate. Cool. All right, sounds. So we're casting 120 yards, spodding 120 yards. Yeah, okay. Sean gets a take, first day, £82.12. Right. First fish we see is £82.12. I'm like, oh wow, incredible. It's going to be a busy night. No, you can't spot at night anyway. Dusk till dawn, you can't spot there. As soon as the sun comes up, start spotting and you'll get a fish. Anyway, the local guy comes over. He says, "Where you fishing? 120 yards there. No, you need to go a bit further." Really? Oh God, bloody hell. Okay, 130. You can try 130, but it's not going to work. Okay, so we do 130 yards. Me and Sean, we're at this range, and he's going. He comes back a couple of hours. Anything? Yeah, we had a few. We've had a couple. Yeah, okay. 147 yards. Fish all day.
Yeah.
Really? No, I was like, bloody, that's a long chuck though for me. It's like really hard. He's like, okay, we'll just give it a go. Like, okay. So they're up, smashing out. No, bang, gets there. Okay, right, sweet, down. Now start spodding. Okay, cool. Spod's a bit easier to get out of there. Bang. 5 minutes. It's off.
Yeah.
Sean looks at me and goes, nah, that's just a fluke. Like, so get it in, it's a 40, drop kick it back. It's like, you know what I mean? Like 40's nothing in there. Bang, back out there again, 147 yards. Spod, bang, it's off. Sean's like that, wind them all in, all of them, 147 yards, and it's just non-stop, bam, 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 bam. It's incredible. And he's like, I can't see how 17 yards, although it's...
What was it? Yeah, what was out there? Anything different?
No.
Just
it's like an invisible line in the water that those fish won't go past, or majority of them won't go past. It's like he was like, there's no way that 17 yards is ultimately gonna release all these fish. I had two fish in about 10 minutes, and he's waiting all his rods in as I'm trying to land the fish. It is absolutely incredible, and I wouldn't have thought that on a pretty level bottom, no real depth changes, nothing really majorly different out there can make that much, but it did, and it does.
Yeah, with Gigantica, I'm not sure if it's still the same out there now, but certainly when we fished there, they would just sit. I mean, you could literally be like just 10 yards off of them, but they knew exactly that part of the lake. They were showing in that tiny little part of the lake where nobody could get to. And there must have been a lot of fish out there.
Yeah.
But they do, don't they?
Yeah.
They do.
They know.
Yeah, they do. And if they see the odd line drifting out there as well, it could be. But like you say, once you're actually fishing there, if they got anywhere else to go then, could they push further back out there?
They can get there a little bit more.
But once you were there, that was just where they wanted to get
happy
caught.
to feed. They were really happy
there.
to feed.
Mm.
They're happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's an incredible place. It really is.
How big is that lake?
30 acres maybe.
Oh, so it's a nice manageable size water, isn't it? As well. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's interesting just to see. I mean, that was for me where I fish. Spotting doesn't really work. It's not going to ring a dinner bell like it does there. It's incredible. You know what I mean? They hear it and they're on it. And they see it day in, day out, don't they? That noise, and they're accustomed to it. And
they recognise that sound, don't they?
It's incredible, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same with the other lake in Croatia, Shumba as well, really. Ringing that dinner bell, and it's just great to see, really. It's really interesting. I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Simon Scott said, I mean, when he was feeding his, when he feeds his stockfish, I mean, they hear the sound of the gate and they're like dogs on a lead. They literally, they know the sound. They know when he's going to turn up there. Is that your first introduction with long range fishing as well?
Straight into the deep end. Yeah,
that was pretty good then, wasn't it?
Absolutely loved it. Yeah, I went and had casting lessons with Terry Edmonds.
We've all been there, haven't we?
Oh, he's incredible.
Yeah.
I see the other day he was like punching a PVA bag 215 meters.
Meters.
Oh. I was like, what?
Wow.
But it's great. It's really good. And last lesson I got up to 170 yards.
Did you?
Yeah, and it's like, it adds something extra, doesn't it? Really.
Without a doubt. You don't always need to do it, but if you've got that weapon, that is, I mean, you can use that to pretty good effect. When he casts, though, the sound of the rod.
Yeah. It's like, and the bend and but he just makes it look so easy, doesn't it? And he's like, you can go 200 easy if you know what I mean? You like a tall guy, long arms. Like it's just, but I'm still fearful of that crack. I'm still but you hear it when he casts, don't you?
Yeah.
When he casts.
It's not a whip, is it?
Nice.
It's a.
It's amazing. It's amazing, but it's a real good.
I mean, watching Terry cast as well. It's athletic as well, isn't it? The way he moves.
He's a strong guy.
He's a strong guy in the way, and just that foot, that sort of turn of the hips and the step forward. But it's very compact, isn't it?
Yeah, he's a powerful guy.
Yeah.
But it's great to do, and that first lesson, and I've been 2 or 3 times now. Yeah, but
how many yards did he put onto your casting to start off with?
I was probably at about 90 something to start with. Then it was like 120 first lesson. Then I think about 150, and then the last one was like 170. So every lesson that you go, but you have to go and do it. You have to do it quite.
Yeah, I know when I
regularly.
had lessons with him, I could probably cast about 120 yards before I had lessons with him. I actually found it pretty hard. I mean, once you get to like 140 and above that, but you were making quite big increments on each time you went as well. So obviously,
I think it's just the confidence in and going to Sasaki and smashing a lead day in day out, smashing a spot day in day out at 147 yards. You get used to it. You don't care about the rod. Do you know what I mean? Like,
do you find as well with like spommening as well, actually, when you're fishing further out as well, when you've really got to hit the rod confidently, decisively at a target, you seem to actually be able to, once you're used to fishing at distance, it feels just as accurate being able to be able to do that at long range.
Yeah, and it's so satisfying.
It's nice, isn't it?
How nice is it when you get a lead at a real long distance exactly where you want it? It's like, Do you know what I mean? It's like watching those guys, isn't it? For me, anyway. For me, it's like watching, you know what I mean?
Darryl's a big caster.
Yeah.
Dame's a massive caster.
Is he? Yeah.
They were doing some rod testing a while back, and
What are they bringing up, rods?
No.
I was trying to get a bang anyway. Who's he testing rods for then? What?
No, of course.
Your last day.
Yeah. And Daryl's tall, isn't he? So Daryl can. But Damo's got just fast hands.
Right.
And we fished together a little bit. I did not realise how far he could cast. They were within 200 yards, and it's like wow. Yeah.
Impressive, isn't it? It's so good to see.
It's a sport within a sport, isn't it?
Even the local guy in Croatia, like let me have a go with the spod, and it's like they just don't even try it. But you get that, you hear the noise, but it just looks so effortless, and it's beautiful. Yeah,
I was quite obsessed with that. Yeah, it's good fun. So is Croatia your European kind of carp fishing choice?
At the minute, yeah. At the minute, it's so easy to get there, straight into Zagreb. And
what about not having your own fishing gear? I don't know if I'd like that.
So now I've been a few times, haven't I? So, and Sean at Fox obviously has his European team over there, and there's a lot of Fox equipment over there, and there may be a few bivvies over there now. There may be a few more bed chairs over there now that are stored in strategic locations with contact. So we're actually taking less equipment and more boilies, fresh. And we saw that being a real edge actually. Fresh boilies.
Did you?
Yeah. Over shelf without a shadow of a doubt. But yeah, so we've now got rods and our stuff, and all of our stuff's out there. Bivvies and beds and stuff. So yeah, very, very fortunate. But a fantastic place.
Yeah, no, it's good. Like I said, we just need to be able to get back out and fish overseas again. Hopefully we're going next month. So
to France, isn't you? Gigantica.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Danny's 50th.
And you swim?
I don't know the swim yet. We've got to draw swims.
Okay.
So we'll be doubling up on the main lake.
Okay.
So it's going to be busy.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be competitive, but it's going to be good as well because it's Danny's birthday.
So have you got your? So there's no.
So we've done a draw.
With a partner or
no. So we've just drawn for the lake. So I think there are five double swims on Gigantica. So whoever's in one of those swims, you've got to pick your partner.
Okay. You've got to pick your partner because that's the thing with these draws.
Well, I think it works both ways.
It's so good in the variation.
Oh no!
And like you could come out like first and go right. I'm going to go in this double swim and
then Daryl decides to fish with you.
Yeah, and then you're ruined, really. But will people?
You're not going to win in a car. Sorry,
but will people want to fish with you?
No.
There you go. So you might have a top trump, really. No one wants to be with you. So they go, do you know what? I'll fish.
They might do for the comedy, actually. Yeah. Oh, well, that might be handy. It might work well. But no, it should be good, shouldn't it? It'd be social as well.
I can't wait to hear the stories from that.
Oh, there would definitely be stories.
Listen, make sure you pack these, will you?
I'll take them.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I want a photo. I want to see a photo of them in Gigantica.
We'll get him to put it on Instagram now.
Yeah.
It's been a great podcast, Bobby. Actually, just saying because you just before we finish up. So business stuff in it, other things that you're doing at the moment. You're doing Legacy, a housing project.
I've got a part of a foundation myself, Rio Mark Noble, actually. That trying to provide social and affordable housing and generate a revenue stream for councils. But it's just so hard with working with local government. Really, there's so much that needs to be done. So many boxes that need to be ticked, so much politics involved, and you wonder why there's a housing shortage. Really,
things just get held up so much. So what were your plans? Did you have a certain amount of houses that you wanted to build?
We want to have a sports and education hub, so almost like an old school youth centre. In a, let's just call it a housing development, with a sports and education hub where the kids can go. I mean, what we see is between 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock is witching hour, isn't it? Really, for kids in a London and in the States, where you end up doing things that you probably shouldn't be doing before your parents get home from work or whatever it may be, and it's just having somewhere and some guidance and people there you can turn to for help. That's a lot. We've been going at it for nearly 5 years. It's a slow process, but we're determined to make it happen. So we're working at it. We're we're.
Is it? I mean, do you when you retire? I mean, is it normal for maybe footballers to try and get involved in projects like that?
Yeah, a little bit, but like I say, we all was doing it when we were playing. So yeah, it's something that we started. But yeah, I've got my fingers in a few pies, and actually the three of us have got a football academy called Football Escapes, which has academies around the world. So in Dubai and Cyprus, Portugal, the Maldives. That we take former players, current players, and coach kids whilst they're on holiday, really, or in some locations that they get to interact and learn from some real talented players and ex-players. So yeah, that's a lot of fun. Go to some fantastic places out in China as well. And, got a safari next year in South Africa, so that'll be fun. A lot of the families will have fun.
You get around a bit then.
Yeah. I'm trying to tie in places where I can go fishing.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
Trying to fit it.
Is it a scary prospect for a footballer to know what to do with your time when you retire?
Yeah, a little bit. But I think for myself, I knew that it was coming. Retirement's coming, so it didn't come. Thankfully, touch with my leg break. It was. I had 19, 20 years of playing football, so you're not naive to think that you can go forever. It's coming, and it's setting yourself up. What's your interests? What do you want to get involved in? Have you set yourself up right for investments, or have you got a good team of people behind you that can help you and guide you into the avenues that you want to go into? Yeah, I've got my fingers in a few pies and enjoying the ride, and enjoying experiencing and learning and understanding and making mistakes and learning from those mistakes. So it's been very, very good and a lot of fun, and there's more to come, and I'm just looking forward to
there's plenty going on.
Yeah, getting out of this virus, and trying to get the world back together and back to normality, really. So yeah,
it's going to be a few more months yet, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, as long as the fishing's still all right to go out and get the rods out, that's the main thing, isn't it?
Bobby, it's been a great podcast. You've been really entertaining as well. Thanks very much.
Thanks for coming, mate.
Pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Thanks.
The Thinking Tackle Podcast.